Hi-ho! That was for Joe. Hi, everyone. We're here live at Epic headquarters. I'm Stacy. I'm here with Steve Polge, Joe Wilcox, and Zack Eastup. He's usually behind the scenes. Now you get to take a look at him today. He's going to be talking about the UT bug database. But first, I want to remind everybody to make sure that they grab UT on the launcher. If you're not seeing UT on the launcher, it's because you haven't logged into the forums for a while. So log into the forums. It will give you the entitlement to play UT on the launcher. So make sure you do that. So Zack, what are you going to talk about today?
Just a little bit about what we've been doing with our QA processes for UT. Some of you guys might have noticed, if we can pull up the monitor here, Shelley, we've added a little UT development QA section to the forums. That's going to be home for where I'd like you guys to come help me out, actually. We're going to be posting anything that you guys are finding issues with the actual game, any bugs, any functionality issues with actually UT itself. Now that'll be the section here. Well, we've moved Windows troubleshooting and added Mac troubleshooting and Linux troubleshooting here as well. Those will be where we'll track more OS specific like support issues, like if you don't have the DLLs or if you need to help actually launching the game, But yeah, so let's dive into this a little bit. Some of you guys have noticed that we actually have a sticky here now. I've kind of gone over how I want you guys to help me report some of the issues that we're having added to the game, or rather trying to fix in the game. It's really easy. Just a brief summary helps me out here. If you can provide us with what version of the game you actually had this happen on, descriptions, and how to actually reproduce it. That's one of the most important things. You guys helped find a interesting wall running bug, for instance, recently, and
yeah, they're great at finding things.
Yeah, right. Raxi had helped me actually reproduce this, and then since we've been able to actually reproduce it in-house, we've been able to take a look at getting that corrected. So, but yeah, if you guys could go there, visit that, check out the sticky, and post any issues that you guys already know about, or help provide any additional information. What I do want to stress about this, though, is let's try and stay away from reporting stuff over and over and over again. If you know something about an issue, try and provide that in the thread. You can also go over to the actual Jira that we have set up now. It is public facing. Anybody can go to that, see all of our issues. You can just navigate there through the forums, and also I'll provide a link in the chat later. Once you get to the actual Jira here, all you need to do is click on our logo. That will take you into the project, and then from there you can go up to issues and search.
Awesome.
So pretty simple, straightforward. This will pull up all the issues that we currently have logged on our public-facing Jira. Now, what you can do in here is search for contained text, other things like that. So if you know there's an issue with the sniper, for example, you can just type sniper, enter, and then it will pull up some of the issues that we know are associated with the sniper. So if you're about to report it, we might already know about it. So, you guys have anything to add?
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what's in the database is far from complete. It's not a complete set of the bugs we know are there. It's just as we've started moving bugs over from our internal database and bugs that are being reported, but it's definitely meant to grow to be inclusive of all the outstanding issues we're working on. And again, this is a bug database. This is not a feature request database or a design suggestion database. So we're really looking for issues that are clearly the game is not functioning as intended. And we really appreciate your help. You guys in one evening do a lot more testing than a huge test team could do, just
Absolutely.
because of the number
you
of
could
people
remedy
in the
that,
community.
Steve. We could just have like 2-hour play tests every day instead of just 1 hour.
But even us play testing, we're a handful of people, and you guys are testing under a whole bunch of different environments and things like that we can't. So it's super valuable. This is one of the ways that having the community involved can make a massive difference in the quality of the game. And so we're really excited that we've got this rolled out so we can really get you guys tightly integrated into this process.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things I do want to add is eventually I'd like to hope to grow the Jira a little bit and have community members actually able to directly input things into this database. So I'm going to be on the lookout for anybody who's providing awesome reports in the QA dev forum there, and anybody who's able to provide as much information as they can, and they're doing it consistently and doing a really good job. Hopefully we'll be able to soon have access directly to the Jira and then report things directly to us. So that'll be really awesome once we start getting some additional contributors into that.
Awesome. We have Crippler HD in the chat, and he says, "Yo, you're kind of pitchy, dog."
Oh, sorry about that.
That's one of our other guys just trolling him. That's All right, so if you guys have any questions, you can talk to Zack in the forums. Head over to those forums. Do you think that maybe we should add some tags in the forums for or the prefixes for people to use for different bugs?
Yeah, I've noticed people have started doing just square brackets and then adding bug in that. So hopefully we can get some integration with the forums directly. Then that'll make it really easy to search for and spot bugs when they are reported in the forums.
All right, we can do that.
Yep.
All right, like I said, if you have any questions, hit up Zack on the forums or in IRC if you guys are in IRC, and give us suggestions and help us along with this because you just became game tester. So thank you. Cool. All right, so next we are going to take a look at the progress on the UT HUD.
Let me slide out here.
And Zack is going to disappear, and
so
Perna's going to kind of slide in.
If you can bring up what we currently have now, this is the first public concept that we put out. This was done by Maria, a person here at Epic who's a contractor. And what we really wanted to do was just kind of sort of zone in on what we want the HUD to look like in terms of form and function. And my goal in putting these out to the community was to try and jumpstart the whole discussion on the HUD. It's one of the things that we're going to be focusing on coming up. And so this was the first shot. And I like a lot about this. And I don't know, the biggest things I like is how clean everything is. You know, the good contrast between the information that is important to be displayed, the background, and how everything is laid out. So we started here, and arrow key. And this was one of the first concepts that came back to us. There's a lot I like about this. And the first thing that I want to talk about is the center of the screen right down over here. This is way too busy, I think, and I think, Steve, you'll agree with me with this.
Yep.
One of the things that we really want to focus on is you have a center zone of the HUD right through here. And we want to keep this as clean as possible around the crosshair so that very quickly you can see the information that's happening. So all of this, while it looks pretty good, is definitely too busy there.
Yeah. And I think you're going to talk about health bars and stuff like that. I really do like the weapons up the side, though. I think that's a really cool idea. It also, I think, fits well. One of the things that we're thinking about is also, rather than continuing to, as our default, have the 0 through 9 keys be how you, other than the mouse wheel, how you control weapons. I don't think anybody, any serious player really changes weapons that way, is to go to more of a weapon group approach. And I think that that'll work well with the vertical thing where we can kind of group weapons by these are under group 1, group 2, and whatever. And you'll be able to bind whatever key you want, but it'll make it easier to quickly switch to the weapon you want without having to move your hand around on the keyboard.
And also by going a vertical wheel over here, it really goes one-to-one to the mouse wheel, so that as you scroll the mouse wheel up and down to change your weapons, you'll actually see it and you'll have that really quick association. To get back to the idea of health bars and everything down here, I'll cover the real why health bars are kind of bad to begin with it later on. But there's a lot of wasted space. We like to think of this bottom, I don't know, about 80% of the screen is the really, you don't want to go above that in terms of your useful information, which is one of the reasons why we don't like these large paper dolls that are down in here. And then when you add this duplicated data here in the armor and the health bars, it's just, there's too much. What you want to be able to do is quickly glance down, immediately see the values that you like, and go with it from there. Other than that, I don't think that this is a bad initial pass at it, but then we started to get a couple other guys involved. Now this is Henrik's, I think it was his first submission, and there's a lot to like about this. As you can see the difference, I mean, this is pretty nice, but a little cluttered, and then we get to a very sparse, clean HUD, and I really like a lot of the look here, with the exception of the weapon bar. The iconized weapon bar, to me, is really hard to read when it doesn't really give you the information that you need at a glance. But
the color coordination was cool, though.
I think it's probably over the top. It kind of turns into this rainbow of HUD.
Right.
Okay,
But
I mean, it's a good direction. I mean, it's good to explore this kind of stuff. Yeah, and I know certainly Henrik some other concepts I really like. So.
Well,
Yeah.
the colors down here are going to be really important because we're going to want most of the weapons in UT are color coded.
Yeah.
And so we're going to want these icons or whatever we end up with in the weapon bar to reflect the color of the weapon itself, right? So we're going to want that a little bit. I do agree that this is a little over the top.
Yeah.
It's definitely a little too rainbow bright over here. I do like his player doll and how he's really started to bring out the shape of it. And the health and armor indicator, the most important thing on the screen, very easy to see, very clear. You don't have any problem seeing what you currently have at a glance. So Maria came back with a couple other designs, and again, she's focusing a lot on the vertical bar where nobody else is really focusing on it yet. And I really like this style of the vertical bar. One, it stacks really well. So if we do weapon groupings or you have a weapon grouping there, you can easily stack it. And it's clean and nice. And now if you imagine some really nice icons over top of that, I think it'll fill in really well. I also really like the flat, background look that she's going for in here. I think it looks really good. So after that, I want to say this was done by Sly. This is a little busy, but there's a lot of really good things. This is the first one. Actually, we're out of order here. I love the weapon bar on here if we were going to go for a horizontal bar. I like the various contrasts. But again, we seem to be wasting a lot of space down in that really critical area for the weapon bar versus vertical. And then our last one. So this is where I think Henrik is currently at. Two things that really strike me here that I really love. I love the fact that he's gone and separated out death messages and system messages from the chat. I think that's a really great idea. And the way he's integrated the player doll into the health indicator, I think really works here. He's still keeping it down into that bottom 80% of the screen, which is really, critical. But it really ties in. The orange on the armor ties into the orange on the shield over here, right? So this ties all together. Again, it has some bars in it, which I don't think are really all that useful. And the weapon bar going up on the side like this is kind of an interesting idea. Again, it goes with the whole wheel aspect and works. I don't think it groups as well as everything else. The other thing, I like the very cleanness of this look up here. I mean, we've talked before, but I think single lines don't often scale well, and different resolutions, they might look a little hard to read. So I'd like to see maybe a background behind that as well.
Yeah, although I don't think that the U damage can really fit there because that's not going to work in a team game type where you've got team game information.
Well, right now we're focusing just on deathmatch. Obviously,
but obviously, what I'm saying, it has to read. You can't have your U damage in one place on the.
Well, you also
we
have to be able to stack power ups too, right? You could have a U damage and the berserk and the invisibility. So we're gonna have to find a way to stack those up.
Yeah, I like the position indicator though. It's pretty cool.
The only thing that's missing is I would still like to have a leaderboard underneath it.
Yeah.
Versus not just the top player in your position. I'd like to see the top three to know who I'm going after. And so this is what I consider we're starting to zero in on a little bit of the positioning feel, maybe a little bit of the look and feel. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think this is getting there.
Yeah.
I think Chris likes the Mr. Crow at the bottom.
Yeah, not so much.
Speaking of trolling.
Well, it's nice, but what's cool with all this iteration is that we're seeing really valuable and interesting elements from different HUDs. It's like, from this HUD really brings out, this is, separating the status messages from chat is really valuable, and we really like the paper doll, and like he's managed to get it centered, but with a size that doesn't take up too much room. So it's nice to see that we've got these different concepts that we're going to be able to start working to get toward, take the best of each and work towards a unified HUD. It's something we're really ready now to move forward with getting our HUD graphics figured out. It's great to see the community jumping in and helping us figure out where it should go.
Another nice thing about this is we're really looking at these as modular designs. I mean, if we do eventually have the ability to completely customize the layout of your HUD, these are going to need to be modular enough to be able to. This might have to be here. Somebody might want to move it. Same thing down here. All these different elements are going to want to be completely customizable. So thinking of that in a modular design, and I really see it here with what we're going for. So and then our final thing is my why weapon bars are bad, or why bars are bad in general. And if you look at this, I think it should jump out right away. To an average user, this is nothing but confusing. Right? If you're trying to figure out, oh my gosh, how much armor do I have? Well, what do each one of these ticks mean? What does, why is this only 3 versus 4? All of that is really confusing. And to the player who's going to take the time to learn what all these different gradations mean, he's just going to want a number. He's going to want to know I have 150 health and I have 35 shield. And so I think it is much better to just move away from this whole bar idea into just numbers on the screen. I think that's the best way to go for this.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, with the complexity of us being able to go above 100 health, being able to go above 100 armor. I mean, it's just too complex so that for the bar isn't a useful representation for a novice player because there's so much complexity in what you really have to describe. And for the advanced player, you want to know your actual number, and so the bar's superfluous. I mean, with the paper doll, you already show what kind of armors we have. We have a consistent way that, armor degrades. If you've got multiple armors, it's consistent how those armors go down. So a good player should know just from those numbers exactly what his situation is.
Yeah, so that's where we're currently at with the HUD. I think we've made some really good. We posted this thread 2 days ago, and we're already up to 4 pages. A lot of people contributing on it. It's getting really good motion and traction. I'm hoping Maria gets back with some new designs very soon, so we can see what she's thinking of as well.
Yeah, shout out to Maria. She's doing a really great job.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, and the community has really rallied around this. And with it being the next big task that I'm going to be going after the lobby, I think this is going to be, we're going to have really good momentum going into it.
Yep.
All right. If you have any questions or if you'd like to jump in the conversation, head over to the forums. I'm not sure Zack has an exact link, but if you just look for HUD, you'll find it.
Yeah, it's a sticky in the UI forum.
Oh, it is. It is. Okay. Thank you, Chumbo. Chumbo's been posting links for us all day. He's been awesome. But make sure you jump in and join the conversation. Joe and I started talking about the HUD a long time ago, and he told me what he wanted to see, and we started from there, and it's just taken off. So it's really awesome to see you guys all working together with that.
In the vein of the HUD, one of the things that's coming up in the forum is I realize that a couple of you really want to have customizable HUDs. And I'd really like for somebody to implement a layout system effectively. The HUDs can already be completely customized underneath the covers. So we'd really like to see someone step up into that role or step up into the role of working on the HUD in general.
So you
I
can
think that would be
do some other things.
Yeah, I think that would be a great add.
Yeah, as we narrow down our HUD design, frankly, this would be a great project for community programmers to implement the new HUD. We've got the basic underlying widgets and framework to do that, and that'd be an awesome project for somebody to take on. So
yeah.
we need more contributors. That'd be great.
So now we're going to, speaking of contributors, we're going to talk a little bit about our new content board on Trello. And we've just made this public today or recently?
Was it today or yesterday? I thought it was
yesterday.
Yesterday?
I thought it was yesterday.
Okay, Joe's going to bring that up. There it is. If you could hit F11. There it is.
So this is our content board. Jim Brown was nice enough to wrestle this thing, and it kind of encompasses art from concept to final model, and also environments and level design as well, and where stuff is at. And it's a quick way for you guys in the community to come on and look at what needs to get done, what's being done, and by who, pretty much, right? So look at the weapon concepts. These are things that we need to finalize, right? So we've got a shock rifle, a rocket launcher, and a link gun. We'd love to have final concepts of those. I know there's a couple things being worked on the forums, but there's really nothing final yet. So it would be great to, have some contributions there. The weapon models, we've got the Enforcer and the Flak that are final concepts. They're being modeled now. You can come on here and look and see what stages of the modeling they're at and all this stuff. And I think eventually we'll start to put dates to some of this stuff and really try and nail some of this stuff down as it gets into the game. And environment concepts will go where environment concepts are. I think next they want to kind of do a castle-themed thing. So we have an environment set from a sci-fi area and an environment set from a castle area. Then we can start to release that stuff to the community, and you guys can mix and match and get crazy with stuff. Environment assets, these are just kind of almost like the working concept level. we said, what do we need for this level to make it come alive? And we need doorways and arches and windows and all kinds of stuff. So if you look in environment assets, this is kind of the way guys are building things to be modular, building their Lego sets.
And where are those from?
These are from, what do you mean, where are they from?
Who did these? Is this community or this Epic?
No, I did that.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I just took stuff from that environment concept we did for DM Circuit, and I had to start getting some artists building stuff, so I kind of broke down some visuals for
awesome.
them to say, hey, we need these pieces, guys. Character concept, same thing. As they come online, they'll go here. The models will start to come online as well, and we'll start to post those and the progress there. Level visuals, the same thing. We're working on DM Circuit right now. DM Sid Castle is next. We don't have any concepts for that yet, but we will soon. It would also be great to have people contribute some stuff online as well.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to see some different ideas for Sid Castle than just a medieval castle. Right. I think like a chalet or something like that. Something that looks techno but slightly futuristic.
Yeah, we kind of tried to do that, and
Did it work
there was a little bit of pushback on that. So we'll see. I'm looking at it from
what's such a fun map.
What's the best bang for buck for environment sets, right? To get out to the community that they can start to build, and if we do some rock and some brick and things like that, I think that's going to be a cool Lego set for people to start building more things with. Yeah. There's some other maps on there. If you guys want to take these screenshots and paint on them,
that's awesome.
Start concepting them. Sky's the limit right now. So these guys are posting, shots from the level shells that they're doing and some of the visual stuff that we're doing. But
I think the Trello board really helps bring all the pieces together, so people can really see the steps that are, the take.
They'll see the steps, and they'll also see what's being worked on, who's working on it, and what we need, and that's what's cool. And it's a very visual, pretty simple and visual. So.
And can anybody in the community, all they have to do is sign up for Trello and they can come in and start contributing? Or?
I think so. Is that right, Steve?
Well, you don't need to sign up for Trello. It's
I
just
think
visible.
you can just hit the link and just
right.
pop in there. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, they can't edit it, but you could take like the screenshot from Sid Castle and start painting over it and then post it in the forums.
You can make your own screenshot of Sid Castle because
true, that's it's in there.
Yeah. Can you scroll over to like the over to the end there? And open up like weapon models or something. Just click on that. So in here, they've all got labels, and eventually there'll be labels for when we're trying to get this done by, and is it a community project or is it an Epic internal project, things like that. So you guys at a glance will be able to open this stuff. There should be a brief description on what it is, and really get a feel for what we're working on and what everybody else is too, and what needs to get done.
Yep. And at a glance, actually, I think the labels, most of the colors show when we think we're going to be working on it. The ones that have purple are the ones that we're asking for community help with.
Yeah.
So, and we're very ready for to really. I mean, we're still figuring out how to organize this project and how to work with the community, but we're moving forward with that. I think the content Trello is a good thing, but we're already got great contributions from the community happening with the HUD, with these the weapon models that are the weapon concepts that are approved were both community driven concepts, and now they're being modeled by guys in the community. Yes. There's a lot more stuff. I mean, now we're ready now. We've got the framework of the game in good enough shape that we're ready to start going wider, right? I mean, there's lots of different stuff we can work on in parallel. There's lots of things we can be concepting, in terms of environments and weapons and the HUD and so forth. And we're really looking for more people in the community to come in and help us make this a great game.
Sure. You should also be able to go on here and at a cursory glance, be able to just see the overall direction, right? Yes. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to filter through on the forums and stuff, and it's all great stuff. But hey, you go on here and you can see what we're picking and choosing as far as the the overall artistic style and the direction and the visual style for the game.
Yep.
Awesome. So can we look at some things that are purple so people know what to look for things that we need help with right now?
Well,
so right there we have the castle, the thing. Need community help. So if you see that, we need some help. We want you to help us. And, you
And
guys
at this
can jump
point, it's
in.
generally concept art, right? Hey, what would this thing look like? You know,
All right, that's awesome. So make sure you guys jump in the forums, take a look at the Trello board, see what we need, and help out with when you can. And that leads us to, we had a community event a month ago, September.
It seems like longer.
I know, it does seem like longer. And
Seems like forever.
the guys that were here noticed that there were some cameramen following them around. We had Joe Wilson and Jason Beasley were following them, taking some pictures of them, taking some videos, and they also interviewed some of the guys. And so Joe Wilson put together this amazing video from the event, and you guys are going to get to be the first to see it. All 300 of you are going to be the first to see this. So sit back and relax, and let's watch the video. Joe, I think you have to drive this one, or does Shelly do this one? Shelly's got this one.
nice.
Okay, we're back live. Yes, we did have to censor Carmack a little bit, but I'm sure you knew what he's saying. We really enjoyed making the video. We really enjoyed having you guys here. And
It was a fun event. I think
was.
everybody had a good
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
Chris was here. He talked to the artist, and we're going to do another one weekend of November 7th. Did I get that date
And I
right
just
this
want
time?
to point out the only reason why they beat us was because of a certain pro gamer who was there who carried their team.
I think those are fighting words right there.
I can say that because I'm not at the next one.
And we can't blame Pete because he didn't play.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a really successful event. It was super valuable for us. We're doing it again. We're not doing this just as a PR move. I mean, it's not something. We're doing it because we really see a lot of value in it for us, and for the whole process that we're trying to develop here and building this game with you guys. So we're going to do it again in November. We plan on this being something that's ongoing. If you want to come visit us, contribute, jump in, and start making stuff. We need programmers. Helping with the HUD, helping with other features. There's lots of. Frankly, you can track down bugs and fix them. You can just, if you're not we need people doing QA for us. We need people making mods and adding new functionality and testing whether they can make their own game types with our game.
And concept artists.
We need artists making concepts, making meshes. Helping us build environments and everything. We need people making tutorials.
Yes.
Helping people how to develop for UT and tutorials on how to play the game. Obviously, everything's still very early. We're still going to be, we still have a lot of work to do on the basic design of the game, but it's useful now as new people are coming in to just give some tutorials that tell people how to play the game as it is right now.
Yeah, how to dodge. We have that great tab on the launcher now that everybody's going to see, and it needs content.
Yep.
Right. Just not you people playing UT, people who are just using the engine in general. So they're gonna be able to see too. So it would be really great if you could put some tutorials out there. It would help people who are working on the engine doing other things maybe jump in and are saying, hey, oh boy, I'd like to help on this. So if you can do some tutorials on there, it would be great, and we'll be happy to link to them.
Yep.
And a lot of those developers don't really know how to play UT, so just kidding. And so your gameplay tutorials are a big help too. We have one up there now from Succubus, I believe, and we'd love to have a lot more. So. And
one of the things I'd suggest, I think, for example, Zack did a great job, but he's got a 30-plus minute tutorial. I think it'd be really useful, especially people as they come in are going to want bite-sized tutorials that give them a pure beginner. Let's give the really basics of play. Okay, a little more advanced play. Here's a tutorial just on wall dodging and the different things you can do with wall dodging and how to take advantage of it in different areas. And then a level specific tutorial. Here's how to get around DM deck. Here's how to control it. Here's how to here's some certain situations you can take advantage of. Weapons. So how to use the rocket launcher. What situations you want a rocket launcher versus another weapon and so forth. So we'd love to see a whole bunch of really high quality short tutorials that explain different elements of the game to people at different levels. Tutorials aimed at beginners, tutorials aimed at people that have some experience playing UT but want to improve and move up to the next level and so forth. So, I think this is a great place to contribute. If you don't think you can contribute as an artist or a programmer, jump in and help us with that.
You can always play the game and record it. And I would think that you want to keep it to about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a good sweet spot in there. And again, we have a lot of people who are like, well, how can I really contribute? I'm not a programmer. I'm not an artist. Well, play the game, make a tutorial. impart the knowledge that you have. Most of the people who are on our game right now have been playing UT forever, right? And it's time for them to help the new generation of UT players learn how to play the game.
Bring more people into the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so make sure you join the engine stream tomorrow. Chance, Mike Fricker, and Ray Davis will there, and they'll be talking about the Unreal Engine 4.6 roadmap. So we're heading towards 4.6. Just got 4.5. So join them tomorrow at this 2 o'clock, same time on the Unreal Engine stream. And make sure you like and follow us, and be sure to join us next week. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.